Good morning, everyone. Thank you for listening our presentation. I'm Crystal. We are 5 people in our group: Jessie, Susie, Leah, Kunni, and me. Today, our group will talk about the legacy of the 2050 AFC Asian Cup, especially focusing on football culture. In order to develop football culture in Australia after the 2050 AFC Asian Cup, 4 specific strategies about domestic and international will be recommended in the following parts. Now let's start our presentation. There will be 3 main parts in the following context. Firstly, I would like to briefly introduce the 2050 AFC Asian Cup and point the importance of developing football culture in Australia. Then, the relative literature and statistics will be reviewed. Secondly, our group members will recommend 4 strategies involving charity football matches, Australia Female Football Development Program, which aim to develop domestic football population, youth football cooperation, and multifunctional football training community, aim to enhance the connection with other Asian countries. Finally, the conclusion of the whole strategies will be mentioned. The 2050 AFC Asian Cup was held in Australia from 9th to 31st January 2050. Which was an international football tournament organized by Asian Football Confederation. It was the first time that the Asian Cup was held outside of Asia, as well as the first time for Australia to host the tournament. Its vision is to deliver a world-class event that celebrates Asian-rich football culture and leaves an enduring legacy for the game in Australia. Sydney, Brisbane, Newcastle, Canberra, and Melbourne is the 5 host cities in the 2050 Asian Football Cup. Australia government thought football is one of the few sports which links Australia with all countries of Asia. Football is one of the most popular sports in Asia. There are some statistics show that more than 80 million people play football in Asia, and the number is expected to grow up to 380 million by 2020. Football culture is an extremely important link between multicultural background people. The event provided an opportunity for Australia to strengthen culture, social, and economic ties with other Asian countries through football. As a bridge to build up a close relationship with Asia, keeping and promoting the football culture legacy after 2050 Asian Football Cup is essential for Australia. Our objective is to improve the international prestige of Australia football, enhance the connection with other Asian countries, and promote the developing process of football culture. In the following part, my group members are going to introduce and discuss our specific strategies to keep developing the football culture legacy.
Our second strategy is to design an Australia Female Football Development Program to particularly increase the popularity of football for Australian females. According to the survey by FFA, only 20% of the total football participation base are girls and women. Therefore, attracting and retaining female players is becoming more challenging in a society. In this context, we recommend Australian Female Football Development Program to take advantage of the popularity of 2015 Asian Cup to attract more women participate into football games. Different stakeholders are included in this program, which are Australia Government, Football Federation Australia, local football clubs, Women's Australia Football Association, and local women. In order to draw women's attention to participate in football games, some football activities designed for women will be offered by Football Federation Australia and Women's Australian Football Association. First of all, FFA will invite some Australian female football stars to have friendly matches, as well as provide regular football open classes and consultation, especially for girls and women. In addition, a visit tour to experience the daily training of football athletes could be manually offered by both local clubs and national football organizations. This free experience could help attract potential female football fans, as well as someone who want to become professional football players in the future. For female football lovers, football clubs and local football organizations will provide female-friendly facilities to them. In addition, they will obtain an opportunity to accept community coaches and even individual development program offered by Women's Australian Football Association and FFA. In terms of women who are intended to be professional athletes in a national scale, FFA and Australian government is responsible for their development through financial support and professional training. Scholarship is established by FFA to reward outstanding female athletes and stimulate them to be world-class players. Furthermore, a 3 to 5 years intensive training program is free to those elite players, which rely on funding by Australian government and FFA. Elite female players also have opportunities to study abroad and communication with world-famous football teams, which is also supported by federal government and FFA.
To successfully develop the football culture in Australia, it is vital to widely increase the public awareness of football and help residents to easily play football games. In Australia, football is still not a very popular sport, and its financial cost and accessibility of participation are barriers for most residents, particularly for social vulnerable groups, such as people with low income and disabilities. Therefore, football matches for charity will be held to raise funds to provide basic football facilities and develop public passion for football. The charity football matches will be held in every year in all states of Australia. Every city has its football team comprised of players from local football clubs to compete with other cities and fight for charity. As the governing body of football in Australia, Football Federation Australia plays an important role in managing and allocating its state organizations to organize local famous football clubs to participate in charity matches. Also, the state government and the city council take responsibilities for building relationships with private business to acquire necessary financial support for these games. With the reputation of football players and a sense of city honor, it would help to attract both football fans and other residents to pay for these charity games. The second part is utilizing all the donation and income of charity football matches to design and maintain football facilities and infrastructures. People with low income can access to these football facilities with low price or for free. Disabled people have opportunities to use those special designed football infrastructures to play and train on a local level. All of these infrastructures would help encourage everyone has the right to participate in football activities. It also contributes to make football become a mass sport in Australia. This kind of match could gradually become an annual football festival in every state with the support of state government, city council, Football Federation Australia, local football clubs, and private business. It will finally encourage Australia's football participation and ensure that everyone in Australia has the right to play football with any physical conditions and socio-economic backgrounds.
In terms of international environment, as one of the Asian Cup members, Australia is able to develop a youth football cooperation program in Asia. This program is designed to enhance the relationship between Australia and other member countries of Asian Cup, especially for teenagers. The whole project will be executed from two approaches. Firstly, on behalf of Football Federation Australia and the ASEAN Football Federation, we are able to organize the Australia-Asia Teenager Football Camps. Definitely, before launching this program, we should collaborate with other world-famous football training camps, such as FC BE Scholar Camp, which belongs to FC Barcelona. Based on the FC BE Scholar Camps have just opened 5 new sites in China, there is a high potential to convince them to choose Australia as their destination. Next, all Asian youth football schools and young football fans will be our target markets of this program. For youngsters who have a fancy for football, it would be an opportunity to learn the technical and tactical elements of football, which used in FC Barcelona, and even have the chance to become one of the professional football players. For Australia, football camp is a linkage to share and spread the different football culture, as well as strengthening the connection with other Asian countries. In this program, Australian state governments, Football Federation Australia, ASEAN Football Federation, football schools, and Asian youngsters will be stakeholders. The second way is holding Australia football tours twice a year during summer and winter vacation. Therefore, this plan aims to attract all Asian primary and high schools, especially for those who own school football teams. Similarly, this tour includes simply football training and skill teaching. In addition, it will guide tourists to have a visit to the 2015 Asian Cup venues to deliver Australia football history and culture. What's more, there is a friendly competition between Australian and Asian children at the end of the tour. In this program, Tourism Australia, Football Federation, Asian schools should be the main stakeholders to implement and promote this program. Furthermore, travel agencies from diverse Asian countries could be the secondary stakeholder to deliver this message and make this tour become reality. Next, welcome Queenie to demonstrate the last strategy.
Our last strategy is building up an iconic multifunctional football training community in Australia. It will mainly face to Asian market to engage the communication between Australian and Asian football industry and stimulate the development of Australian football culture in the long-term duration. There are 3 main purposes of this community. Firstly, it will provide a world-class training place with high-tech equipment and comfortable environment for Asian national football team and the league football clubs to prepare international competition. Meanwhile, on the basis of various facilities, it will be a multifunctional community which involves training, leisure, and recuperating. Secondly, it is a good opportunity to attract more foreign investment into Australian football industry and make the profit from this community. Thirdly, we aim to be a great connection between Australian and the Asian football culture and enhance the popularization of the football in Australia. These are our main stakeholders: Australian government, FFA, partner company, Asian national football team and clubs, and the local residents. What will be included in our community? To successfully complete a multifunctional community, there will be 4 main areas, including 5 professional outside playgrounds, which enable for 10 teams to practice at the same time. In addition, the professional health center with full medical service will be used for monitoring the player health condition, dealing with emergency, and even making surgery. Then, the 5-star resort and hotel with various kinds of facilities and entertainment will be used for holding prize ceremony, accommodation for athletes, coaches, and employees, and experiencing a great vacation. Several advanced equipment
such as the equipment which will simulate the high-pressure situation, will assist the athlete adapting to altitude sickness. These kinds of techniques will help them to easily handle the difficult and terrible situation in the real competition. Considering this complex situation, it is necessary to obtain the support from Australian government and the relevant department. On one hand, government needs to offer a relaxed policy environment which is used for lower the industry barrier and simplify the relevant approval process. On the other hand, site selection and professional employee will rely on the strong support from Australian relevant organizations. Apart from previous elements I mentioned before, it will add more functions in the future, which consists of training, recuperating, office work, leisure, accommodation, and even shopping together to offer an integrated area for athletes in the long-term training.
Today, we presented our strategies for keeping football culture legacy after 2015 AFC Asian Cup. These strategies are divided into domestic and international programs. Our ultimate goal is to popularize football in Australia and improve the Australian football competitiveness in the world. Also, Australia can increase more links with Asian countries via football. That will bring a series of future cooperation and benefits of trade, investment, education, and so on. This is our presentation. Thanks for your listening.